Chapter 61. Grows small. After a while, Li Shang and his assistant walked into the conference room with a large stack of files. When they distributed the files to everyone in the conference room, they began to summarize this strange incident. Based on our detection of the residual magic energy and data comparison, it was determined that this strange thing is a strange creature that has just undergone the second level of alienation. Its ability is to make the target transparent. The strange energy contained in the blue blood remaining at the scene can still do this. But, after we tested the octopus carcasses brought back from the scene, we found that the residue did not contain occult powers. In other words, no weird corpses. As soon as Li Shang finished speaking, everyone, led by Deng Yuqi, subconsciously looked at Shen Jie. Shen Jie was stunned for a moment and said with an innocent face, "Look at what I did. If you want to blame me, just blame the person who made the explosive grenades. I couldn't have eaten the corpse, right?" Deng Yuqi said, "You are the one who directly dealt with Wei Yi. We just want to know if you missed any details. For example, are you sure Wei Yi died under the bomb?" Shen Jie thought for a while and replied with a serious expression, "Probably. Right. After all, the power of explosive grenades is twice that of ordinary grenades. There is no reason why a weird thing the size of a basketball cannot be killed. Besides, if Weird is not dead, Weird the space won't be released, right?" Deng Yuqi thought about it for a while but still felt uneasy. She turned around and said to the assistant on the side, "Arrange people to patrol the building in shifts 24 hours a day." Yes. The next step is Deng Yuqi's summary of this strange incident, as well as some arrangements for follow-up work, and finally gave those involved in the operation a day off. Shen Jie returned home, took a shower, made a bag of instant noodles, and sat on the sofa to collect the rewards from the weekly tasks. Kill the weird, characteristic, intangible, and complete the weekly mission. You will be rewarded with system points x300, random F-level recovery items x3, and free attribute points by 10%. Do you want to withdraw the reward? Extract. Rewards are being drawn. Extraction successful. Obtain Special Effect Bandage x1. Level F. Spirit Apple x1. Level F. Ace Blood Stasis Removing Ointment x1. Level F. Special Effect Bandages can treat fractures and bone cracks. As long as they are wrapped around them, the damage can be repaired within 10 minutes, while the Wayu Ointment is more like an analgesic, which will eliminate the pain once you are injured. In general, as long as you draw the spiritual apple, you will make a lot of money. Although Shen Jie chose to extract intangible characteristics instead of selling corpses, he earned 300 system points by running around in the treacherous realm. Adding the 300 from the weekdays and the 501 he had saved before, he now has a total of 1,101 system points. 10 companies are enough. This time Shen Jie is going to go in the opposite direction and directly come up with the song, "Two Springs Reflect the Moon." Let's test the waters with a single draw first. Prizes are being drawn. Ding! The aperture speed that jumped repeatedly among the 5 options gradually slowed down, and finally stopped at free attribute, 5%. Yo! 5% of the free attributes at one time, breaking the record. Not bad, not bad. Continue. Hurry up and pursue the victory. 10 draws in a row. Ding 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 ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing the consumable Flash Bomb x3. Congratulations to the host for drawing the daily necessities Instant Noodles x1 box. Free attributes 2%. Cola x12 Instant Noodles x1 box. Ticking Bomb x1 Hellguard Dog Tactical Double-Edged Knife. Free attributes, 2%. Telescopic Electric Baton, Throwing Baton. Beretta PX4 Storm Pistol X1, Magazine X4. The joy of 10 Company passed in a flash. Except for free attributes, bombs and pistols, everything else can be obtained by spending a little money. Well, what was I expecting? Shen Jie sighed, put the weapons and equipment under the bed, and turned on the computer to check today's news. The hot topics on the internet were basically today's anti-terrorism drills. Wow, is this our wrong city's special forces? They're so handsome. Brother, kill me. The new technology is great. It can actually make half a building visually invisible. If this is used in the military, Unifying the world will be just around the corner. You guys look at the few soldiers who came out of the community, and the faces walking in front. Really great value. Why does it look familiar to me? It seemed like the gangster who set fire to cars in the downtown area. So that was also a terrorism prevention exercise? Why are there so many anti-terrorism drills recently? Is there going to be a war? Even if there are replies that question the incident itself, they either disappear inexplicably or are quickly suppressed by replies similar to the above comments. Shen Jie did not expect that this incident would be suppressed so easily. Sure enough, the comfortable life in peaceful times makes it difficult for people to feel a sense of crisis. Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. It's early in the morning and the log has been updated. January 10, 2028, the process of forming the exploration team was not smooth. Most of the capable people in the organization already had a fixed team, and the rest were either with various problems or some rotten fish and shrimps waiting to die. In line with the principle of better than waste, you decided to put aside the matter of forming a team and go out to explore alone. After all, it has a silent feature, so it may be more convenient to move alone. You left the organization and originally planned to search for supplies at the nearby Tom's Mall, but found that the original location of Tom's Mall had become an empty land. At this time, you receive a system prompt that you have broken into the 7th level weird, invisible, realm. Oh, will we also encounter the invisible in the future? Shen Jie is very curious about how his future self will solve the intangible. Unfortunately, the diary ends here, which means that the results will not come until tomorrow. You can't learn anything from the system, just learn from those old pigeons at the starting point. Shen Jie complained and fell asleep on the sofa. Getting up early the next day, although Deng Yuki gave those involved in the operation a day off, Shen Jie did not intend to take a day off at home. He had some doubts and needed to find someone to confirm for him. After changing clothes, Shen Jie found a black shoulder bag, poured out all the documents inside, and then wrapped the butcher knife in newspapers, along with the tactical double-edged knife, fragmentation grenades, flash bombs, pistols, and electric shock absorbers. Sticks and other things were stuffed into the bag together. And the most important thing, Special Policy Department Agent Certificate. I am a member of the Special Policy Department. Is it reasonable for me to carry a pistol, grenades, flash bombs, etc. when I am on vacation? Shen Jie picked up his bag and walked to the door. He was reaching for the door handle when he suddenly thought of something and pressed his hand directly on the back of the door, unfolding the invisible realm. Then, Shen Jie walked directly through the door. Removed the mysterious realm. 1 second, through the wall. Tisk, tisk. This mysterious realm really has room for manipulation. Shen Jie thought very simply. The invisible mysterious realm can make the floor collapse, and naturally it can also make the wall collapse. Next, Shen Jie also wants to find a target to try out his trap flow. After going out, Shen Jie took a taxi to the largest private hospital in the city center and went to the office of Director Tang, the andrology department, on the 3rd floor. Tang Jin's, Shen Jes Fa Xiao. The two parents also have a good relationship. They grew up together. After Shen Jie had an accident when he was 10 years old, Tang's father and Tang's mother originally wanted to adopt Shen Jie, but in the end they were intercepted by the uncle who came to rob the property. Not long after, Shen Jie was sent to Rongshan Mental Hospital by his uncle's family. Shen Jie has a good heart, is kind, and does not hold grudges. After I came out of the mental hospital, I didn't fight for the real estate. Thinking that my uncle's family liked that house, they let the 3 of them live in that house forever. Shen Jie and Tang Jin's met when they were in college. Only then did the other party know that he had not returned to his hometown with his relatives, but was sent to a mental hospital. Why are you here? Tang Jin's was quite surprised to see Shen Jie. Shen Jie put his bag on the sofa and sat across from Tang Jin's. I need your help with something. You're looking good lately. Didn't you stay up late and work overtime? I changed my job and am now in the Special Policy Department. Special Policy Department? What kind of bad name is this? The Special Incident Management and Security Countermeasures Department, an organization similar to the Men in Black MIB, fights aliens, saves the world, etc. It is considered an iron rice bowl. Tang Jins was silent for a while, then silently picked up the phone. Hey, Xiao Luo, help me check how many appointments Dr. Zhao of the psychiatry department has today. After saying that, he put down the phone and looked at Shen Jie with a professional smile on his face. Okay, continue talking. Can you please watch the news? Shen Jie sighed, took out his mobile phone and showed Tang Jins the previous videos of the cunning mouse and cunning cat. The special effects are good and quite realistic. So you became an actor? Tang Jins asked. Shen Jie took the shoulder bag and threw it to Tang Jins. Tang Jins opened it in confusion and looked at it, suddenly sweating profusely. What a good boy, you sell arms part-time? This certificate, holy shit, are you serious about it? I will talk to you slowly about this later. Let's get down to business first. Help me with a physical examination. I want the most complete one, Shen Jie said seriously. Chapter 62. Is the system weird? Tang Jins took Shen Jie all the way to swipe his face card, and after struggling all morning, he finally completed all the inspections. Then the two of them went to have lunch, got the urgent report and returned to the office. Tang Jins took Shen Jie's various report sheets and read them for a while, then said with a serious expression. Apart from some physical differences, there is no big problem. Have you got a girlfriend? You're a bit weak, my friend. Shen Jie said expressionlessly. No, then why are you so weak? Are you practicing your hand speed? That's not right. With your face, you won't be able to find a girlfriend. Tang Jins raised his eyebrows. Shen Jie said. Stop talking nonsense and be serious. Is there really nothing wrong with my report? There is nothing extra in the body, so what is the extra growth? What can you get, a tumor? Don't worry, you are healthy. Besides, you don't have any bad habits, so you will have no problem living to 100, Tang Jin said. Didn't you find anything? You're questioning my expertise? Sorry, I'm used to questioning. Shen Jie took the report sheets and looked through them for a while. It was true that all indicators were qualified. Tang Jins asked, so what are you worried about? Worry about what? Shen Jie is worried that the system is the weird thing growing in his body. There are 3 reasons why I think so. First, Deng Yuki told him that weirdness and weird energy are all repelled by the human body, and previous attempts to transplant weird corpses ended in failure. However, he can perfectly use the weird special abilities through the system. The second one is spiritual power and cunning energy. Shen Jie added 20% of the free attribute points acquired yesterday to his mental power, and his own mental power has exceeded 200%. At first glance, there is nothing wrong with this attribute, but in fact, aside from the system's comment that the basic value of each attribute of a normal adult male is 100%, it seems very strange. Shen Jie has played many games and read many novels. There are simple attribute settings and complex attribute settings, but system settings are very rare. Until Deng Yuki explained to him the trick energy and the trick energy jar. The canister of weird energy is based on the capacity of level 1 weirdness, and one jar contains 100% of the weird energy. Regardless of whether there is a difference in the body shape of the first level weirdness, there will not be much deviation in the weird energy capacity. Character energy is the basis of the ability to use weirdness. So Shen Jie had already suspected that the mental power in the attributes was the system's disguise of the mysterious power. Especially the A-type canister that automatically recovers 10% of its magic power every hour, which is exactly the same as mental power. His current situation is equivalent to having 2 cylinders of deception energy in his body. As his mental power continues to improve, these 2 cylinders will slowly turn into 10 or 20 cylinders. To test whether this speculation is true, the method is very simple. Just take a sip next time you get the canister and see if it restores your mental power. The third and most critical point is, the system can swallow up weirdness and seize characteristics. After the death of Weiyi, the characteristics will be transferred to the new Weiyi until it reaches the 4th level of awakening, but only the characteristics swallowed by the system will not appear again. If the system is weird, this explains why the characteristics of being swallowed will not appear again, because this is transferred to high-level weirdness. Of course, these are just Shen Jie's guesses. After all, Using the starting point system theory, the golden finger is stronger than anything else and can explain the past. It's just that there were too many accusations pointing to the system being weird, and Shen Jie couldn't help but think more about it. However, what if the system is weird? After this inspection, no abnormalities were found at all, and there are also big problems with the rewards of the system. If the system is weird, where do the rewards come from? According to the files of the Special Policy Department, the currently known weird events and weirdness are all without wisdom, and although the system is stupid, it can at least defeat half of Xiao Ai's classmates. It's not just the system, it's also weird and there are many unresolved questions. For example, the time of the first strange incident recorded by the Special Policy Department was actually before that. Shen Jie had experienced the father eating mother incident. But wouldn't people become weird? What happened to your father? Shen Jie patted his forehead and felt a headache. The more he thought about strange and systematic problems, the more questions he raised. This is the first time I've seen you show such an expression. Tell me, maybe I can help you. Tang Jins took a sip from the water glass and said seriously. Shen Jie sighed and stopped thinking about it. He looked at Tang Jins and said, "It's okay. I'm just having a headache over something weird. I have one more thing to trouble you. Please delete my physical examination information today and don't leave it in the file." "Okay, no problem." Tang Jins nodded. Shen Jie told him in detail about the weird things in the morning, and explained to him some methods and techniques for dealing with weird things. He also urged him to call him as soon as possible when encountering weird incidents. After Tang Jins learned about the weird events, he realized that the higher authorities had been suppressing such news exposure. Combined with the bizarre news, he found that the weirdness had actually appeared very early. As for Shen Jie asking him to delete the medical examination information files, Tang Jins didn't think much about it, thinking that Shen Jie's current identity needed to be kept secret. "Keep this electric baton, it might come in handy at a critical moment," Shen Jie said as he took out the electric baton from his shoulder bag and handed it to Tang Jins. "Instead of carrying a pistol, bring this fragmentation grenade. Even if you put it on your desk, others will think it is a lighter at most." Upon hearing this, Tang Jins quickly interrupted. "Stop it, if someone is cheap and pulls the ring off, it will be a lot of fun. I keep the electric baton. Forget about the gun. I won't be able to use it. Maybe I can still use it. I was invited to drink tea. Don't worry, I will definitely call you if anything unusual happens. Besides, there have been only a few weird incidents this year, so it's not that bad that it happened to me, right?" "That's true. As long as you stay away from me, weird things usually won't happen," Shen Jie said. Tang Jins laughed when he heard this. "Look what you said. Oh, by the way, you are on vacation today anyway. If you have nothing to do, come to my house for dinner?" "It's okay, I haven't seen my uncle and aunt for a long time." Shen Jie and Tang Jins went home for a meal. It was almost 9 o'clock when they got home and turned on the computer to search for some weird information on the internet. Combining the files of the system and the Special Policy Department, Shen Jie has confirmed 3 strange characteristics. Inhuman, black mist, dark energy, characteristics will appear at level 4 or above. If you look at these 3 points together, there are some problems with the authenticity of the strange events that I found on the internet. At least there should be no weird human figures. But the 3 heads and 6 arms, Lao Wang and his octopus piranha father, these 2 figures are weird and make the first conclusion of the Special Policy Department untenable. Even the statement that human beings who become weird are all high level is untenable, because according to the research of the Special Policy Department, weird energy will only cause human beings to fail and become diseased, rather than mutate. Ding! Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. Chapter 63. Li Shang is the big boss. Shen Jie first opened the diary, wanting to see how his future self would deal with the intangible. On January 11, 2028, you entered the weird, invisible realm. Under the prompts of the system, you found that the environment around Tom's Mall was affected by the invisible characteristics and became transparent, and all things and life forms that entered this place became transparent. all will be affected. You found the door of Tom's supermarket based on your memory. When you stepped into the door, the 7th level uncanny energy instantly made your feet transparent. When you completely stepped into the uncanny realm, you felt that you were whole and transparent. Tom's supermarket integrated into one. The transparent shopping mall makes it difficult for you to move forward. Just when you are about to exit the supermarket, you suddenly hear a loud noise, and then feel like you are being wrapped around a large transparent python and lifted up. Your bound hands work hard to remove the grenade hanging from your waist, pull off the tab and throw it forward. The grenade suddenly hung in the air 3 meters away, as if it was picked up by an invisible hand. With a loud noise, the grenade directly blew up the invisible hand, and the impact of the explosion sent you flying away and hitting you on the door. Thanks to the giant python on your body that blocked part of the impact, you managed to save your life. As the invisible hand was blown into pieces by the grenade, blue blood appeared out of thin air, spreading around and splattering on invisible objects. You can vaguely see the entrance lobby on the 1st floor of the mall, which seems to be an infinitely long python, filling the entire mall. Seeing that something stained with blue blood is coming towards you again, you don't dare to stay here, so you get up and escape from Tom's mall. Seeing this, Shen Ji's face darkened. Needless to say, he knew that the invisible python was the invisible tentacle of the octopus monster. But he didn't expect that it would grow to this extent in just 4 years. 4 years ago, a blasting grenade solved the mystery. 4 years later, the grenade could only blow up one of its tentacles, and that was only in the entrance lobby. You must know that Tom Mall covers an area of 20,000 to 30,000 square meters. In addition to the parking lot on the 2nd floor below and the supermarket on the 1st floor, there are 3 floors above. Invisible tentacles have filled the entrance hall, and other places must have been occupied already. However, grenades may not be useful against such a huge invisible force, but what about missiles, nuclear bomb, hydrogen bomb? It should be possible to transfer citizens and implement world nuclear peace, right? Blowing up a piece of land is better than letting it grow to level 8 and swallowing up a city in one go, right? What about the technological weapons of the future? Shen Jie felt a headache and fell on the bed. Each mystery was followed by a bigger mystery. Apart from waiting for the log to be updated, there seemed to be no better way. Will I report invisible situations to the organization in the future? If the organization is official, it should have weapons of mass destruction. Shen Jie tried to put himself into a role in the future. Although it was a bit unpleasant to cooperate with the Special Strategy Department for the first time to solve the strange incident, it was just a difference of ideas. The Special Strategy Department under the leadership of Deng Yuki did not have the determination to deal with the weirdness. Any questions? The boat will be straight when it reaches the bridge. Shen Jie was too lazy to worry about these things anymore and went to bed directly. The next day, he went to the Special Policy Department to find a chance to test whether the canister can restore his mental strength. Sleeping until midnight, Shen Jie sat up from the bed with a bang. Etc. Did I not get into trouble today? Not only did he not get into trouble, but he also went from home to a private hospital and then to Tang Jin's home, including a pet market next to Tang Jin's home. On this journey, not even a single special event was triggered. Has a problem? System? No, this system is not Shao's, and it won't answer. System, conduct level evaluation. Rate the current status of the host. Rating result. Level 1. If the system responds, it does not mean that there is a problem with the system and there is no early warning. Just didn't encounter it. Shen Jie didn't quite believe it. After all, even just throwing garbage downstairs could gain a few points with the level 1 weird little teddy. It's not like he wouldn't encounter a weird incident in a day. Shen Jie thought that he would wake up anyway, so he simply got dressed and went for a walk on the street to see if there was something wrong with the system during the day or if the weirdness nearby was gone. The next day, it's 8:30 in the morning. The gate of the Special Policy Department. Shen Jie stood at the gate with a frown on his face. He walked around the street for 5 hours, during which he encountered many wild dogs and cats. Not even a single special event was triggered. Under the apocalypse, weirdness is rampant. In a city full of dangers, the host still does not forget to exercise hard. His courage is commendable. Strength plus 1%. Agility plus 1%. Constitution plus 1%. System points plus 50. Shen Jie was unable to complain. There isn't even a ghost, so where is the danger? Shen Jie originally wanted to report directly to the operations department, but there were still some things he wanted to confirm with Deng Yuki, so he went to the minister's office. Tan Shen, are you looking for the director? She is not in the office now. She was called to the technical department by Director Li shortly after she arrived. Assistant Xiao Zhang stopped Shen Jie. Director Li? Li Shang? Shen Jie asked. Xiao Zhang nodded. Yes, Li Shang has been promoted to deputy director because he studied strange mice and cats and made important discoveries. Do you know why he came to see the minister so early in the morning? Shen Jie asked. Xiao Zhang said. I heard that the strange mouse you caught has made a new discovery. Sneaky rat. Shen Jie was curious about what kind of tricks Li Shang was doing, so he went to the technical department, found Li Zhang's assistant and brought him into the laboratory. In front of the closed containment room of the laboratory, Deng Yuki, Li Shang and a group of researchers stood in front of the transparent bulletproof and explosion-proof glass, staring inside intently. Even Shen Jie walked behind them without noticing. Shen Jie looked inside and found that the holding room was empty. He asked curiously, are you guys gathering together to look in the mirror? Look in the mirror. Too. You're here, just in time. Can you find what's inside? As soon as Li Shang saw Shen Jie, his attitude suddenly turned 180 degrees. Shen Jie. You must have wanted to say, country turtle, just now, right? At first, Shen Jie thought that Li Shang was arrogant and looked down upon everyone. Later, he discovered that, country turtle, was his catchphrase. Sneaky rat? Can you see? I can't see it, but the assistant said that you were studying strange mice and made a new discovery. Even so, Shen Jie had vaguely guessed Li Shang's new discovery. Sure enough, a few seconds later, a strange rat the size of a panther appeared in the corner of the containment room. Haven't you seen him look so big in 2 days? Shen Jie pretended to be surprised and asked, Eh? What's going on? Did you feed it the strange transparent corpses you collected yesterday? Li Shang said. Clever, I worked overtime last night to study the blue blood, and found that it can make objects temporarily invisible, so I suddenly came up with the idea of integrating the blood into the octopus's body and feeding it to the sly rats. Unexpectedly, with me as expected, the self-healing and invisibility abilities of the rat are perfectly integrated, and 10 milliliters of blue blood diluted with water can make it invisible for 2 minutes. As he spoke, Li Shang suddenly let out a long sigh. It's a pity that I scraped off the blue blood on that floor yesterday and only collected a few hundred milliliters. It's a pity. Shen Jie agreed. Shen Jie also admired Li Zhang's mind. In just one night, he found a way to use invisible blood based on a whim. What if this is, etc. Shen Jie suddenly thought that the system had previously prompted the Special Strategy Department to be the weird headquarters. Could it be because Li Shang often conducted such whimsical experiments, and something happened in the end? By the way, I have another big discovery, Li Shang said excitedly. Chapter 64. It not only distinguishes superiority from inferiority, but also determines life and death. At this time, everyone present, including Shen Jie, had only one thought in their hearts. What you discovered is very good, please don't discover it again in the future. If you continue to do this, sooner or later the Special Strategy Department will cause a high-level strange incident. In the past, one weird incident a year was considered too much, and naturally there were not that many weird corpses for researchers to deal with. But since Shen Jie came to the Special Policy Department, 3 weird corpses were added to the Special Policy Department in just 1 week. The technical department. This also allows you to flex your muscles. In order to explore the limits of the self-healing ability of the weird rat, Li Shang applied for the joint development of several weird corpses, so he couldn't wait to conduct the experiment as soon as he got the blood of the weird octopus yesterday. Before that, he also tried to feed the corpse of the strange cat to the strange mouse. Li Shang played the video of the experiment from the past few days to everyone. Only then did everyone know why the strange mouse grew from the size of a cat to the size of an adult cheetah in just a few days. According to my research, weirdness devours vitality, mainly converting living bodies into strange energy and accelerating the speed of its own alienation. Weird creatures not only feed on humans, but also on their own kind. Compared to the little bit of weird energy gained from eating humans, directly devouring their own kind will allow them to alienate faster. Before the trick mouse devoured the trick cat, its body length was less than half a meter excluding the tail. However, after devouring the trick cat's body, its body length quickly increased to 1.5 meters, and its trick energy content exceeded 200% and reached 273%. The second-level weirdness standard value. In other words, the weird mouse has evolved into a second-level weirdness. If you feed a second-level weird corpse to a weird mouse, can it quickly grow into a third-level weird corpse? Or does it need to break through the weird energy value of the third-level weirdness, that is, until the weird energy of the weird mouse breaks through 600% to complete evolution? I was thinking about before Li Shang finished speaking. Deng Yuki rubbed his forehead and said helplessly, "Stop it, stop thinking about it." Li Shang, the technical department studies weird corpses in the hope of creating more weird equipment for elite agents. Use this to deal with weirdness, instead of letting you study weird evolution. If you cultivate high-level weirdness, want you have high-level weirdness equipment? Li Shang asked back. Deng Yuki said, having said that, we have to eat our food one bite at a time. It is best to ensure that we have enough low-level sneak equipment before we study high-level ones. Our branch now only has 2 pieces of sneak equipment. First of all, only when the quantity increases can we be qualified to focus on quality. That's okay. Li Shang nodded, thinking that the idea of applying to feed the corpses of Gui Che, Gui Nao, etc. to Gui Mouse could only be postponed. However, the discovery that weirdness swallows weirdness and accelerates alienation is really amazing. Just imagine when weirdness breaks out and the streets are full of weirdness. Thinking of this, Shen Jie suddenly understood why Tom's Supermarket's invisibility could become a giant level 7 weirdness in just 4 years. The weird mode of weirdness, in which big fish eat small fishes. As the frequency of weirdness becomes higher and higher, a high-level weirdness will soon be fed. Deng Yuki also realized this and asked Li Shang to write a detailed report on strangely accelerated alienation and submit it to the headquarters. Coming out of the technical department, Deng Yuki looked at Shen Jie and asked, "Do you have anything to do with me?" "Right. Go to the office." "Good." Going to the minister's office, Deng Yuki first praised Shen Jie's on-the-spot response and temporary command regarding the action the day before yesterday. Secondly, he hoped that Shen Jie could integrate into the special strategy department and be more at the national level when dealing with strange incidents in the future, to consider. Shen Jie said that it was okay for him to save people, but it was impossible for him to sacrifice himself or the people he knew to save some people who had, "You should have come to save me," written on their faces. On the first day when Shen Jie came to the special policy department, he once wanted to integrate into this place, but later found that he could not do it, because when he became familiar with these people, he would consider using their lives in exchange for the lives of some idiots worth it. Shen Jie does not have the qualities of a soldier. He does not understand that protecting the people is the bounden duty of soldiers. They will not consider whether it is worth it or not, they will just do it without hesitation. The deviation of the most basic concepts meant that Shen Jie was destined to be unable to integrate into the special strategy department. Deng Yuki obviously also discovered this. A person's outlook on life is closely related to his childhood experiences. She wanted to know what happened to Shen Jie during those 3 years in Rongshan Mental Hospital that made him indifferent to life. However, the original information could not be traced due to the fire, which also made Deng Yuki very helpless. Deng Yuki knew that he would not be able to convince Shen Jie in a short time, so he sighed and changed the subject. "You said you came to me for something, what was it?" Shen Jie leaned on the chair with a smile and asked in a casual tone. "I want to know, has my inspection report come out?" "Inspection report?" Deng Yuki asked, pretending to be confused. Shen Jie smiled and said, "Please, I'm not stupid. On the day I joined the company, I drew 8 tubes of blood, and also extracted my nails and hair. Do you really think I haven't had a physical examination? That's because the weird events related to you all have the same kind of weird energy residue. We are worried that you are infected with an unknown virus, or you are carrying some kind of weird energy equipment." Deng Yuki said, Pulling out of the drawer, he took out a file and handed it to Shen Jie. Shen Jie took it and opened it, and it turned out to be his detailed test report. But unfortunately, whether it was Tang Jin's hospital or the technical department, the test results were consistent. Apart from a somewhat poor physical condition, he is generally very healthy and has nothing to do with weirdness or weird energy. I didn't expect that. I'm quite healthy. Oh, by the way, at my current level, am I qualified to check the Special Strategy Department's past operations against weird data? Shen Jie asked. Deng Yuki said. Okay, just ask Xiao Zhang to help you adjust the gear. Where are the files on the weird human experiments conducted by the Special Policy Department in the past? Shen Jie asked again. Deng Yuki shook his head. No, those files have been sealed by the headquarters, and human experiments are strictly prohibited. They can only be retrieved through the headquarters' main computer. That's okay. Shen Jie closed the file and put it back on the table. He found Xiao Zhang and asked her to help retrieve the files on the Special Strategy Department's past operations against the enemy, and then went to the Operations Department. When Feng Chengshou and others saw Shen Jie coming in, they gathered around him enthusiastically. Feng Chengshou put his arms around Shen Jie's neck and said with a smile. Xiao Shen was so majestic yesterday and has great potential to be a leader. Well, everywhere, brothers are just giving me face and cooperating with me. Shen Jie knew that this guy was planning to settle the score in the future. I see that you have been practicing for so long. It's time to learn more about special fighting skills. It's better to choose the day than to hit it. It's just the right time to test your learning results today. A day is also called a long time. Well, Feng Zhao, I think my basics are not good enough yet, so I'd better keep practicing the basics. It's okay, let me test your personal combat skills first. Come on, let's compare notes. Feng Chengshou put on a stance. It's just that this posture doesn't look like a discussion, but more like a battle of life and death. Chapter 65. Sparasi Shen Jie stayed in the dormitory again. He didn't even have the strength to move his fingers, let alone go home. This shows how intense today's training was. However, Feng Chengshou was not seeking revenge. It was just to allow Shen Jie to improve his physical fitness and become proficient in fighting skills as soon as possible. One day of training also increased Shen Jie's agility and physical fitness by 2% each. After Shen Jie simply washed up, he set an alarm clock for 0:01 on his mobile phone and fell asleep directly on the bed in the dormitory. When the alarm rings, it's time to get up and catch up. On January 12, 2028, after escaping from the invisible realm, you immediately returned to Shijiang district and reported the strange incident immediately after returning to the organization. According to the latest Weird Danger Rating report issued by the International Anti-Terrorist Organization, the weird domain that can affect the environment is at least level 6 weird. The senior officials did not expect that after the big evacuation of Rong City, a high-level weirdo would be hidden. Organizations and officials responded immediately and dispatched a reconnaissance team to conduct 24-hour monitoring of the invisible magic zone in Tom's supermarket to prevent the spread of the magic zone. At the same time, he applied to the higher authorities and tried to use the newly developed anti-conspiracy missile to defeat the conspiratorial realm. The plan is approved and you are sent to find survivors around the invisible realm and relocate them. Julius, in the evening, you dragged your tired body back to the organization base, and when you were about to go back to your dormitory to rest, as soon as you entered the block, you saw a fashionably dressed, beautiful-looking long-haired beauty staggering towards you as if she was drunk. Less than 2 meters away from you, someone staggered towards you. You quickly ducked to the side, and the long-haired beauty fell to the ground and ate mud. She raised her head and looked at you pitifully. You bypassed the beautiful woman and walked straight towards the dormitory. At the same time, he took out his organizational liaison device and sent a message to the patrol team, saying that there were suspicious people around the dormitory area. After asking about what happened and the appearance of the suspicious person, the patrol team replied with 4 words, as expected of you. Gone again? Shen Jie was still a little confused. But at least he had confirmed that there would still be technological weapons such as anti-terrorist missiles in the future, and he was also prepared to use them to combat the weirdness. However, Shen Jie was curious about what the big evacuation incident in Rong City was. Judging from the logs of the past few days, it seems that the citizens of Wrong City have been evacuated. It seems that the extent of the disaster in Wrong City is no better than Tokyo, which was swallowed up by the 8th level weirdness. In the next few days, Shen Jie received high-intensity training every day. In addition, in order to adjust his physical fitness, his diet was also controlled, and his life was worse than death every day. The strange thing is that when he went out for a walk in the past few days, not even a single, special event, was triggered. If the other functions of the system were not normal, he almost thought that the system had swallowed the invisible and then hibernated. Unable to trigger special events, Shen Jie simply concentrated on training and updated the log every day. The logs of the past few days also allowed Shen Jie to solve many mysteries. On January 13, 2028, the patrol team captured the woman based on the clues you provided. After interrogation, it was discovered that she was from the Sakura Kingdom. Their goal seemed to be for a strange person with special characteristics in Wrong City, trying to use you to enter the organization lurks until it finds the weird one. Regrettably, even though the organization tortured the woman to extract a confession, she did not say which specific peculiarity the target was. That night, the woman escaped from the cell. On January 14, 2028, you and the members of the organization searched the neighborhoods within a 10-mile radius of the invisible realm. After confirming that there were no other survivors, you reported to the superiors to carry out the annihilation plan. Returning to the organization, you collected this week's resources and returned to the dormitory. You were extremely vigilant and found that the door lock had been tampered with. You turn on the silent feature, pry open the door of the dormitory next door, and crawl back to your room from the balcony. The room is pitch black and you can't see anything. You crawl into the room silently, as if you are one with the darkness. At this time, you noticed a faint sound of breathing coming from the corner. You're familiar with the terrain in the house, and you suddenly launch an attack. You kick off the coffee table and hit the person hiding in the corner. With a soft groan, you successfully locate the target and stab him directly with the saber in hand. The opponent's reaction is very fast, and they are inseparable from you. After an anxious battle, you successfully subdued the target. When you turned on the light, you saw that it was the woman you had reported before. You looked at the spy who had been beaten up by you, but he had a bad face. He silently took out his mobile phone and dialed the patrol number again. The woman stared at you with charming eyes, licked her lips. Half of the white hemispheres were shown on the east and west hemispheres, and said in the authentic hometown dialect, "Ah, Sabah si, Shen Sang. You are worthy of being favored by the organization. As long as you are willing to cooperate with our actions, the organization will give you me and a piece of level 4 deception equipment as a reward." On January 15, 2028, the patrol team took the woman away for investigation. The leader told you that after the Sakura Kingdom destroyed Tuku City because of the 8th level weirdness, the domestic situation was not optimistic. They tried to find a more powerful weirdness. Use deception to control deception. When weirds grow to level 4 or above, the threat posed by thermal weapons to them is greatly reduced, and most weirds also have the ability to convert nuclear energy into weird energy. Just like Godzilla, the national treasure of Sakura Country, directly uses nuclear radiation as food. When the weird incident broke out last year, Maliguo and Asan Kingdom tried to use nuclear weapons to completely destroy the level 6 weirdness, but the weirdness did not die. In the end, 2 level 7 weirdness was created, causing the 2 cities to fall directly. After this, the nuclear weapons of various countries were sealed. At the end of last year, there was the first case of successful combat against level 7 spooks in the beautiful country. Although the news was hidden for a time, the international spy organization still discovered the clues and asked the beautiful country to publish the details. Only then did they learn that they had consumed 3 pieces of 5th level weird equipment, 1 piece of 6th level weird equipment, and paid an extremely heavy price to successfully kill the 7th level weird equipment. The combat plan of using trickery to control trickery has been listed as the primary research object of various countries. At the end of December, a certain dynasty successfully defeated a level 6 trick at the cost of 2 pieces of level 5 trick equipment. And this strange 6th level corpse was stored in the Wrong City Military Center. The leader suspects that the target of Sakura Kingdom is the strange corpse of level 6, and asks you to lead a patrol to investigate the central area of the city, and you will definitely find out all the lurking people. On January 16, 2028, the Stealth Creation Annihilation Plan was officially launched, and anti-deception missiles were used to launch an attack on Tom Mall. However, as shown through satellite images, although Tom's Mall was razed to the ground, leaving a deep crater, blue blood poured into the city like a flood. You received an emergency evacuation mission from the leader and led the residents of Shijiang district to evacuate. In just half a day, half of Rong City was submerged in a blue sea of blood. The flooded area was instantly made transparent. It is extremely difficult to find something weird and invisible in half of the city. The anti-spy missile plan has failed. On January 17, 2028, you successfully evacuated from Rong City. On January 18, 2028, you and the survivors entered the Quanlongshan base. Your organization was incorporated into your organization, and you became a member of the counterattack department. Shen Jie never expected that his future self would join the Special Policy Department in this way. On January 19, 2028, you became an elite agent of the Special Strategy Department and received your first mission. The organization asked you to obey the woman and try to break into the enemy. Shen Jie. Chapter 66. The system is normal. This task is somewhat outrageous. Shen Jie wanted to know what would happen next, but the system acted like a mess again. However, through the diaries of the past few days, Shen Jie also collected a lot of strange information. First of all, weirdness above level 7 is not even useful for nuclear bombs. Weirdness can even convert nuclear energy into weird energy, making it even more powerful. Ordinary missiles are useless against level 6 weirdos, so the above specially developed anti-trickster missiles. Unfortunately, when dealing with invisible, the anti-trickster missiles also failed to work, and even caused half of Rong City to fall. In the future, Shen Jie's organization took advantage of this evacuation incident to join the officialdom and move to the Quanlong Mountain base. Secondly, the plan of preventing magic with magic was proposed. In this way, Beautiful Country successfully captured a level 7 strange, becoming the first country in the world to kill a level 7 strange. Due to the fall of Tuku City, the Sakura Kingdom sent people to sneak into Rong City in an attempt to steal a strange 6th-level corpse stored in Rong City's base. They do not hesitate to asterisk high-level strange corpses from other countries. This shows that there is still something in this plan of using trickery to counteract trickery. It is rare that the United States can also make a contribution to the world. In the end, the Special Strategy Department actually wanted him to use a beauty trick and follow the woman to the inside of the Sakura Country organization to counterattack. Come on, I've already tricked others twice. I am really stupid to be fooled by this. Shen Jie complained, got up, put on training clothes and went to the combat department. After a week of high-intensity training, Shen Jie's attributes have improved a lot. Rating. Level 1 Basic Attributes. Power 103%. Agility 101%. Physique 101%. Spirit 200%. Characteristics. Do not move. Intangible ability. Equipment pig killing knife. Characteristic. Not bad. Black gloves. Characteristic. Hold on. Thing. System points 151. Freely allocated points. 8% affected by high-intensity training. The 3 basic attributes not only successfully reached the standard values of normal adult males, but also slightly exceeded them. Although he is still not proficient in special fighting skills, he has made great progress in firearms. He is already very proficient in pistols and submachine guns, and it is no problem to compare with Xiao Qi. Compared with fighting skills, Shen Jie still values firearms more. After all, within 7 steps, the gun is accurate and fast. Xiao Shen, we have a rest tomorrow. Let's have a drink together tonight? Feng Chengshuo asked Shen Jie after packing the training equipment into boxes. Not today, I have an appointment. Shen Jie shook his phone and walked towards the dormitory. Cheng Shengnan sent an invitation at noon to fulfill the promise of a thank you meal. Thinking that Feng Chengshuo would definitely have a drink at the weekend, Shen Jie agreed without hesitation. Given the choice between drinking with a group of strong men and getting drunk, or drinking with a beautiful woman and getting drunk, Shen Jie chose the latter without hesitation. Hey, it couldn't be the beautiful woman that you risked your life to save in the strange space that day, right? After the hero rescued the beauty, it started to develop naturally? I think so. It's good to be handsome. If you have a beautiful woman, treat me to dinner. It's a pity that we can only have a few big men drinking together. Several soldiers who were familiar with Shen Jie walked by and couldn't help but joke. Don't worry, I won't go in if you are trapped, Shen Jie said with a smile. Amidst the laughter and scoldings of forgetting friends after seeing sex, Shen Jie returned to the dormitory and took a shower, changed his clothes and went out, taking a taxi to Tianchuan Square where he had agreed with Cheng Shengnan. A few days ago, after Cheng Shengnan applied to the company to move the office building, he asked his assistant to find an office building near Tianchuan Theater, which is only 3 blocks away from the Special Policy Department. Whether it's useful or not, the closer you are to the enemy, the faster rescue will come if you really get into trouble. Cheng Shengnan even wanted to sell his house and live nearby. Where are you? Shen Jie sent a text message after getting off the car. The pedestrian street opposite Tianchuan Square open-air tea garden. Cheng Shengnan quickly replied, and then sent him a detailed location. Shen Jie walked through Tianchuan Square and looked for it according to the location. He happened to see Cheng Shengnan sitting on the lawn of the pedestrian street scrolling through his mobile phone. This was the first time that Shen Jie saw Cheng Shengnan not wearing work clothes. Even with the bare leg artifact, her pair of beautiful legs were very eye-catching. Shen Jie stepped forward and joked, "You didn't work overtime today. This is very wrong. Could it be that someone abused his power and ran away in advance?" Cheng Shengnan put down her cell phone, looked up at Shen Jie, and said calmly, "Who in our company dares to be late and leave early except you? Isn't it thanks to a good leader who is considerate of his subordinates?" Shen Jie smiled and said, "By the way, what are we going to eat today?" Cheng Shengnan said, "My friend recommended a newly opened Western restaurant. I heard it tastes good and has a lot of repeat customers. You said you have no special requirements for Chinese or Western food, so I booked this restaurant. Let's go then." Shen Jie followed Cheng Shengnan to a magnificent Western restaurant next to Tianchuan Square. As soon as he reached the door, the waiter came up and asked politely, "Do you two have a table?" Cheng Shengnan nodded, took out his mobile phone and opened the ordering information. "You two, please come in." The waiter guided Shen Jie and Shen Jie into the restaurant and came to a seat by the window. The restaurant is very large and the decoration is very atmospheric. It is dinner time and it is almost full. Warn. The host is in an area where a large number of weirdos appear, and several high-level weirdos have already captured the host's location through their keen sense of smell. Host, please cherish your life and escape quickly. The system has come to life? After the system swallowed the invisible, no special events occurred for 7 days, but other functions were normal. Shen Jie once wondered whether it took time to digest the invisible. Now that the system is awake, it means that he can once again lead the branch in the street to kill the champion. "You two, please order." The waiter placed the menu in front of Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan. Cheng Shengnan saw Shen Jie looking around as if he was looking for something, and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Oh, the environment here is good." Shen Jie replied casually, but he also confirmed what the system said was strange. Of course, pets are not allowed in this kind of restaurant, but there are 2 macaws, one blue and one red, on the shelf next to the cashier. When customers enter, the 2 parrots will nod and say, "Welcome." Needless to say, these 2 must be weird. Anything else? The system prompts a lot of weirdness, so there must be more than just these 2. Since it's a restaurant, I guess there should be a lot of weird inventory in the kitchen. While Shen Jie was still thinking about finding a reason to go to the back kitchen, Cheng Shengnan had already finished ordering. "That's all, give him one too." "Thank you." Since Cheng Shengnan ordered Shen Jie, he saved the trouble and closed the menu and handed it to the waiter. Cheng Shengnan said, "Why do you feel that you are absent-minded?" "This is it, wait a minute." Cheng Shengnan frowned slightly and raised his hand to rub his forehead. "Don't tell me that we won again." "It's not that bad." Shen Jie quickly smiled and waved his hands, "It's just a suspicion." Isn't this a lottery win? Cheng Shengnan patted his forehead lightly and sighed. If I had known, it would be better to order a few takeaways and go home to eat. This is nothing. Chapter 67. Weird meat, delicious and sweet. Don't forget that your house has been troubled for a short time. But don't worry, I will take action if there is trouble, Shen Jie said. What do you need me to do? Cheng Shengnan asked. Shen Jie said, I want to find a reason to go to the kitchen and have a look. Cheng Shengnan said, this is not easy. Restaurants like this have very high requirements for fresh ingredients. When the food is served, you will say it is not fresh after taking one bite. Can you just ask the waiter to take you to the kitchen to have a look? Good idea. The two of them seemed like old friends they hadn't seen for a long time, chatting about interesting things from their days as colleagues. Shen Jie looked like, I've resigned anyway and there's nothing you can do to me. He complained about how Cheng Shengnan made things difficult and suppressed him in the first year of his employment. Cheng Shengnan snorted coldly and said expressionlessly, Then do you still remember that when you and a few interviewers were sitting in the corridor waiting for the interview, I passed by you and what did you say? After being reminded by Cheng Shengnan, Shen Jie recalled that on the day of his interview, he and the two people who also came for the interview got bored of waiting and talked about games, novels, and extended to comics, movies, and TV shows. Later, he talked about which female star was the most beautiful. When looking at a person, whether to look at the face first, the ball first or the legs first, a pair of beautiful legs comes into view. At that time, there was a man who was chatting enthusiastically. He immediately pointed at the legs and talked to the person next to him about the shape of the legs, the golden ratio, and the age of the legs. Then Shen Jie responded perfunctorily, Well, I'm just having fun with my legs. Unexpectedly, Cheng Shengnan heard this. You can hear it even from a long distance away? Shen Jie said in surprise. Cheng Shengnan hummed. I only heard the words, Wan Nian, but judging from the expressions of you, it shouldn't be a good word. Then, this is prejudice. Human beings are emotional animals and sincerely yearn for beauty, just like when you see a bouquet of beautiful flowers, you will comment a few words, right? Our comments are not the same. The affirmation of your beauty. You don't think you are bad at looking, right? Shen Jie asked rhetorically. Cheng Shengnan was speechless for a moment and looked at Shen Jie with strange eyes. As expected of the #1 salesperson in the company, this mouth really knows how to speak. Everywhere, it's just because other people are too good to set it off, Shen Jie said modestly. At this time, the waiter brought the first dish, the charcoal grilled tenderloin, customized by the former 3-star Michelin chef. Just when Shen Jie saw the steaming, charcoal grilled tenderloin, his first reaction was, is this really cooked? The blood could still be faintly seen in the meat. The second reaction is that the black smoke floating on the meat is so unique. Cheng Shengnan picked up the knife and fork and cut a small piece to taste, but Shen Jie held the knife down on the fork she was about to lift. What? Cheng Shengnan asked. Shen Jie took a knife and touched the black smoke floating on the meat. You don't really want to try something that is obviously problematic at first glance, do you? Is there a problem? Cheng Shengnan's eyes were obviously startled, but Shen Jie saw something was wrong. He frowned and asked, Wait, you can't see the black smoke floating on this meat? Cheng Shengnan shook his head. Shen Jie immediately took out his phone and dialed Deng Yuqi's dedicated line. Where? What level? Are any citizens affected by the disaster? Deng Yuqi's tone revealed the helplessness and sadness of seeing through life, and she was obviously used to it. As expected of you. Shen Jie joked and briefly reported the situation here. When Deng Yuqi brought people over, Shen Jie picked up a piece of roasted tenderloin with his hands, tore the meat into strips and placed them on the plate, making a smiley face. Cheng Shengnan sighed. Do you have to handle this meat in such a way that it will turn heads? What do you mean by black smoke? Shen Jie's actions frequently attracted the attention of people around him, and many people still lamented that he is a good-looking person, but it is a pity that he is mentally retarded. Shen Jie said. Weird's body has an energy called weird energy, which manifests itself in the form of black mist and black smoke. Look at the heat floating on the flesh, it looks black in my eyes. Shen Jie is very strange. Wei energy is a black gas visible to the naked eye. Even ordinary people can see it. Why can't Cheng Shengnan see it? Shen Jie glanced around. People in the store were eating various types of tenderloin, pork chops and steaks with gusto. Some of the meat was covered in black smoke, but they didn't seem to be able to see it. Shen Jie felt that there was something wrong with this store, so he immediately called Deng Yuki and asked her to bring someone to cordon off the store to avoid alerting the public. You too, is today's dish not to your liking? Shen Jie's strange behavior attracted the waiter's attention. Shen Jie put down the meat in his hand, wiped his hands with a napkin, and said with a smile, I said this is domestic wild boar, but my friend said it is imported pork. Wild boar is smooth and delicious, and can be torn into silver threads. It's a small one, so I want to check the authenticity. Waiter. Sir, the pork we use in our store are all authentic Spanish Iberian pigs. The meat is delicious. You will know after you taste it. I have obsessive-compulsive disorder, so I can't eat it unless I tear it into 1080 parts, Shen Jie said. Since the restaurant is only 3 blocks away from the Special Policy Department, Deng Yuki led the team to the restaurant in less than 10 minutes. This was the only time Shen Jie notified her of strange events. The only time he emphasized, come quickly, was to seal the store immediately after arriving and bring the customers back to the Special Policy Department for inspection. For a moment, Deng Yuki was a little nervous, wondering if Shen Jie's detection ability had detected something higher than invisible. The Special Policy Department used the Ministry of Health and anti-smuggling excuses to let the soldiers move the customers in an orderly manner and seal the entire store. When Deng Yuki asked her assistant to take someone to ask the person in charge, she and Li Shang came to Shen Jie's side. Seeing the smiling face on the plate with shredded pork, they said with a strange expression, You didn't get kicked out of the restaurant. It seems that the service in the restaurant is pretty good. But, is this the problematic meat you said? Shen Jie pointed at the meat on the plate and looked at Li Shang and asked, Old Li, can you see the black magic floating on the meat? Li Zhang's eyes widened and he took a closer look. Is there something weird up here? Shen Jie frowned when he heard this. Sure enough, not only Cheng Shengnan, but also Deng Yuki, Li Shang and others couldn't see the trick above. Deng Yuki seemed to realize something and said to Li Shang, Test it with an instrument. Okay. Li Shang took the instrument and scanned the meat. There was a beep sound and a number 1 was displayed on the display. With such a low level of ghost energy remaining, it is difficult for the machine to sweep it. How did you find out? Li Shang asked in surprise. Actually, I am a super soldier of the M78 Nebula. I have awakened the mystery killing system in my body, and I can accurately capture the location of the mystery. Shen Jie was interrupted by Deng Yuki mid-sentence. Since the problem lies with the meat, let's go to the kitchen and take a look first. After saying that, he turned around and left. Li Shang approached Shen Jie and asked, Have you really awakened the mystery killing system? If it is true, find an opportunity for me to study it. Shen Jie looked at Cheng Shengnan and said, I'll send you to the Special Policy Department first. You haven't eaten anything here, so you don't need to be tested. I'll send you back after I'm done. Okay. Cheng Shengnan nodded. Shen Jie stood up and followed Deng Yuki, Feng Chengshou and others into the kitchen. As soon as he stepped into the kitchen door, Shen Jie received several prompts from the system. Warn. The host is approaching the strange lair. The target's rating is higher than that of the host. Please evacuate the host immediately and do not make unnecessary sacrifices. The host has stepped into a low-level pollution area, and the area has been contaminated by evil energy. At this moment, Shen Jie noticed that there seemed to be wisps of black smoke drifting away from the air exhaust vent next to the cold storage where several soldiers were standing. Wang Han, Ma Chao, stay away from that frozen warehouse. There is something strange in the frozen warehouse. Shen Jie immediately shouted to the 2 familiar soldiers from Team 1. Hearing this, the 2 men immediately took a step back with their guns in hand and looked at the cold storage warily. In the cold storage, Deng Yuki frowned slightly, and immediately ordered everyone to observe martial law and surround the cold storage. Shen Jie put on the sneaky gloves and, hold on, and opened the cold storage door with Feng Chengshou. Inside the door, there was a weird pig-like cow that had been frozen to death. This weird-looking pig is exuding a faint black smoke, and looks weaker than the mice and cats. The strangest thing is that when Shen Jie and others approached, the pig still froze in place without any reaction. Like, completely dead. Chapter 68. Are you Tinkerbell? Just when everyone was waiting, Shen Jie suddenly stepped forward and squatted in front of the strange pig. The distance between the two was only 30 centimeters. This move frightened Feng Chengshou and others. Feng Chengshou, Wang Han, Ma Chao, Zhang Hu and Zhao Long immediately stepped forward and surrounded the strange pig with guns, for fear that the strange pig would open its mouth and swallow Shen Jie. Shen Jie took out his mobile phone and took a slap in the face of the strange pig. This little thing looks really unique, but don't be nervous, it's so deadly. Dead? Everyone was surprised. Deng Yuqi asked Li Shang to come forward to scan. After Li Shang took the instrument and scanned for a while, he found that the strange pig only contained a small amount of strange energy. It should have died and been frozen in the process of alienation. This is the first time that everyone has encountered such a situation. After all, before Shen Jie came, the Special Policy Department had been in a standby state all year round. I have seen the strangeness of a living dragon and a tiger a few times, but I have never seen such a strange thing like an ice sculpture in the process of alienation. Bring the person in charge in, Deng Yuqi said. Zhang Hu and Zhao Long nodded, went out and brought in a short, fat, middle-aged man wearing round metal glasses and a flattering smile. Officer, what's going on today? The shop is run with conscience. All the ingredients have been inspected several times. Yes, your health bureau just came to the site for inspection some time ago. Let me show you the certificate. The person in charge said that he wanted to walk out, but was stopped by Zhang Hu and Zhao Long. Deng Yuqi said with a cold face. Then when they came, they probably didn't see this pig that was hybridized with an octopus, right? I hope you can think carefully about how to explain the origin of this thing. Ah, officer, you're talking about this. This is an imported pig from Spain with food qualification certification. Look, that's the certification. The person in charge said, pointing to a certificate on the wall. Deng Yuqi said, seal the team and cut a piece for him to eat. No need to bother. This is the charcoal grilled tenderloin I ordered just now. The waiter said that medium rare is the romance of your restaurant. Come on, be romantic too. Shen Jie took out a 2-finger-sized piece of charcoal grilled tenderloin from nowhere, with blood streaks hanging on it. After he tore it open, it looked very disgusting. The person in charge quickly covered his mouth and waved his hands repeatedly. Officer, I can explain, I can. Take him back. Deng Yuqi didn't want to talk nonsense with this person anymore, and directly ordered all the staff of this store to be brought back to the Special Policy Department for investigation. I think it would be better to take all the ingredients here back for inspection, Shen Jie suggested. In fact, he saw faint black smoke floating on some meat ingredients, but it seemed that both Deng Yuqi and Li Shang cannot see. Shen Jie wondered if the system had swallowed up invisible evolution. Even this kind of instrument is difficult to detect the weak mysterious energy, but he can directly see it with his naked eyes? By the way, there are 2 parrots at the door, Shen Jie added. As he spoke, Shen Jie squatted to the right side of Wei Zhu, took out the butcher's knife from his shoulder bag, and cut a piece of meat from Wei Zhu's leg. At this time, a strange scene happened. The place where a piece of meat was cut off by the killing pig's knife on the thigh of the strange pig. The blood threads mingled together quickly as if it came to life, and then blood bubbles bubbled up, and the flesh slowly grew. Li Zhang's eyes lit up when he saw this. Is the regeneration type weird? Deng Yuqi was used to seeing weird and strange abilities. This situation was no surprise to her, but she was more concerned about Shen Jie's ability to casually pull out a butcher's knife. Are you planning to change your career to butchering pigs? Oh, you are talking about this. This is a family heirloom sword, the supreme martial arts sword. A sword that can slay dragons. No one dares to disobey the orders given to the world. If you cannot rely on the sky, who can compete with you? Seeing that Shen Jie was about to start talking about storytelling, Deng Yuqi quickly interrupted. Stop, stop, stop. I know the dragon slaying knife, you don't need to tell me. I'm just curious. I haven't seen you go out with a knife before. When did you get this hobby? Before, I didn't have the ID of the Special Service Department, So how could I dare to take something like this out? Don't tell me. The identity of the Special Service Department is really convenient. Now I carry a knife, a pistol, etc. And if I am checked, I will directly report it to the Special Service Department. His ID was slapped on his face. He looked so proud. Shen Jie said proudly. Deng Yuki. Underscore. You are really honest. Wait a minute, you brought a gun? Deng Yuki felt nervous. Could this guy have taken a gun from the Special Policy Department? Although it is okay to carry a gun as Shen Jie, stealing a gun is a serious crime. As if he had seen through Deng Yuki's thoughts, Shen Jie took out his Beretta pistol and said, "Don't worry, I'm not from the Special Policy Department." Then you. Deng Yuki's expression became strange. Is this Tinker Bell? Can you easily take out a butcher knife and a pistol from your bag? Shen Jie said. This has to start with a trip to Hawaii. Okay, let's talk about this later. Li Shang, have everything here moved back for inspection, including the 2 parrots at the door. Apparently, Deng Yuki remembered Shen Jie's words. Li Shang learned that the meat ingredients here and the parrot at the door might be strange, which meant that his experimental materials had increased, and he wanted to move the entire store back. Detective Shen, can you really see strange energy with your naked eyes? Even the instrument can't detect it, so your eyes are really amazing. Why don't you let me study it? Li Shang came to Shen Jie's side, his eyes shining, staring into his eyes. Ahem, Li Shang, let's get down to business first, Deng Yuki said. Li Shang said excitedly. Minister, isn't this serious business? Do you know what it means to be able to see this kind of weak, strange energy that cannot even be detected by instruments with the naked eye? There is a process for strange alienation. According to research, in fact, many animals that have not yet been alienated already contain supernatural powers in their bodies. If we can find these animals in advance and contain them, it means that we can obtain a large amount of experimental materials without any effort like today. Whether it is for mysterious operations, making mysterious energy equipment, or studying weird things, it is a major breakthrough. This is a discovery that will shock the world, Deng Yuki said in a deep voice. This matter is forbidden to be mentioned to the outside world. The fact that Shen Jie can see weak supernatural powers has been designated as a first-level confidentiality policy of the headquarters. The few people who entered the back kitchen today are Feng Chengshou, Zhang Hu, Zhao Long, and Wang Han and Ma Chao. If this matter spreads, I will hold the 6 of you accountable. If people from the headquarters ask, let them come to me. Li Shang muttered. What if you were the one who told me? Shen Jie only had 2 thoughts at the moment. One was that no matter what Deng Yuki's purpose was, at least her behavior was quite touching. Whether it was to win people's hearts or for other purposes, Shen Jie had a lot of favorable impressions of her. What's more, Deng Yuki remained unmoved by the fact that she had deliberately exposed her bottom just now, which shows that she really wanted to exchange trust for trust. The second thought is that Li Shang's technical achievements are at least as high as 3 or 4 floors. Otherwise, with his emotional intelligence and poisonous mouth, it would be a miracle that he was not assigned to the cleaning department to clean toilets. In any case, thanks to Shen Jie's eyes tonight, it was the first time that the TCE department captured a strange corpse so easily. Li Shang asked technicians to come in and pack the ingredients. Shen Jie was busy helping, not because he was enthusiastic, but because the system had finally woken up, so it was natural to collect a wave of points. The host is cautious, transforms into Leeuwenhoek and searches carefully in the strange lair, discovers a large number of strange cubs, and successfully takes them in. Reward system points x20 by 3. Help bag the pork and beef in the cabinet, and you can get it with 60 system points. The host is brave and not afraid of danger. Faced with the fear of the deep sea, he dares to catch his cubs with bare hands. His strength is astonishing. Reward system points x20 by 3. Water tank seafood packaging, 60 system points. The host is so swollen that he bravely breaks into the strange lair single-handedly. Faced with many strange people staring at him, he remains calm in the face of danger, as if he is in a place where there is no mystery. Reward system points x50 by 3. Perform performance art at the entrance of the Western restaurant, walking in and out. I highly recommend this book by a good brother. I am a seasoned author. I highly recommend it. Introduction. Leon, who died suddenly after being tortured by the life of a social animal, reopens the United States. This time he wants to live a different life and see the limits of human beings. Where, including arm wrestling competition, slapping competition, strongman competition, UFC mixed martial arts. Chapter 69. Rating tasks. Fortunately, the people in the Special Policy Department were already accustomed to Shen Ji's performance art, and they just ignored Shen Ji's weird behavior. Finally, the Special Policy Department thought there was a problem with the hygienic conditions of the restaurant, so they packed all the ingredients back to the Special Policy Department, and then put a seal on the store. According to Deng Yuki, the Western restaurant needs to continue to be investigated, the people behind it need to be investigated, and the source of goods must also be investigated, especially this kind of regenerated pork, which is obviously very problematic. Being able to be safely sent into the country and obtain all kinds of documents means that the people who take part later not only have the strength and background, but also have some understanding of the weird. Such a situation like this is dealt with before the alienation is completed. At least the Special Policy Department cannot do it now. As to whether it was processed before alienation or during the alienation process, this can only be clarified by checking the source of goods. Deng Yuki felt a headache when she thought that it might be involved in internal problems. Returning to the Special Policy Department, people from the logistics, medical and joint technical departments were busy conducting tests on the customers of the Western restaurant. After all, strange energy is extremely harmful to the human body. Even if the alienation has not been completed, no one knows directly what will happen if you eat weird meat in your stomach. Since Cheng Shengnan didn't eat anything from the Western restaurant, the people from the technical department briefly checked her and then asked her to sit in the lounge area of the lobby and wait. Cheng Shengnan was scrolling through her mobile phone with her head down. Following the sound of footsteps, a figure stood in front of her, and then she heard Shen Ji's slightly teasing question. "Hi, beauty, let's have a midnight snack together?" "Okay, what do you want to eat?" Cheng Shengnan raised his head and asked. Not far away, Sanshao, who was processing customer documents for a Western restaurant, saw Shen Jie coming back. He wanted to go up and say hello, but saw him walking directly towards a beautiful woman and extending an invitation so boldly. The point is, others agreed directly. While the three little ones were disappointed, they couldn't help but lament that it was indeed a world where men were judged by their appearance, and so were women, alas. The three little ones were sighing. Deng Yuki appeared behind them at some point and said lightly, "Three idiots, you can tell they know each other just by looking at them." "Ah, Minister, are you back? Minister, why don't you make any sound when you walk?" Scared us to death. The three little ones hurriedly stood up straight and reported to Deng Yuki the test results of the customers in the Western restaurant. At present, it seems that most of them have no health problems. Some people have physical lesions. It is not yet clear whether there is something wrong with the body in the first place, or whether the problem occurred after eating strange meat. However, most of the people who have problems are regular customers of Western restaurants. As the three little ones were talking, Shen Jie came over and said, "Minister, my friend didn't eat anything from that restaurant and he also got tested. Can you leave now?" "Okay." Deng Yuki nodded. After all, Cheng Shengnan is also an old acquaintance. Since meeting Shen Jie, he has been involved in strange incidents 3 times. It can only be said that Shen Ji's aura of being mysterious is too powerful. Then I'll take her back. Shen Jie turned and walked towards Cheng Shengnan. Deng Yuki said from behind, "Please go home directly, but don't hang around outside. I don't want to receive another call from you before a strange incident is dealt with." "I try my best." Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan came out of the Special Policy Department. In order to avoid encountering strange incidents again, they found a barbecue restaurant on the street. The two of them chatted while eating, talking about the number of times the company's old customers had redone plans recently, or their design ideas, the company's situation, etc. "Talk about colleagues," Cheng Shengnan suddenly asked. "Has Xiaohe contacted you recently?" "No, what's wrong?" Shen Jie asked. Cheng Shengnan said, "When she came to the company last week to go through the resignation procedures, I told her that the company was moving and asked her if she wanted to continue working. At that time, I felt that she was in a daze, her face was tired, and she had dark circles under her eyes and smoky eyes. The makeup is the same. She said that since that incident, she always dreams about those monsters when she sleeps. She said that she went downstairs to throw out garbage several times at night and saw a big dog with black smoke coming out of the community. Since then, she has not dared to go downstairs at night. I asked her to ask you. She agreed at the time, but now it seems she has not contacted you. Big dog? Black smoke? Shen Jie frowned slightly. Although Xiaohe and Cheng Shengnan were restrained together and experienced strange events, she had never seen anything weird from beginning to end. The appearance of black smoke means that the big dog Xiaohe saw has completed the alienation, at least level 1 weirdness. Do you have Xiaohe's phone number? Shen Jie asked. Cheng Shengnan nodded, took out his mobile phone, found Xiaohe's phone number and handed it to Shen Jie. Shen Jie took the phone and pressed the dial button directly. Soon, the call was connected. Hello, Mr. Cheng, Xiaohe? You are. Please. Brother Shen, it's you. How did you use Mr. Cheng's phone number? Are you together? Yes, let's have a meal together. I heard from Mr. Cheng that you haven't been in good spirits lately. You often see a big dog emitting black smoke, right? Well, I saw it digging through trash cans in the community the night before yesterday, but the sight was too scary, so I ran away. I told the property management about it the next day, but nothing was found through the available surveillance. Shen Jie asked in detail about the characteristics and appearance time of the big dog. After hearing Xiaohe's reply, he initially concluded that it was a level 1 weird thing. According to Xiaohe's description, no one in the entire community has seen this strange thing except her, which is a bit strange. Shen Jie comforted her with a few words, thinking that she would have a rest tomorrow, so she made an appointment with Xiaohe to go see her tomorrow and check up on the stray dog. Hang up the phone, Cheng Shengnan took the phone and asked, when will you be there tomorrow? At noon. Then let me go with you. I had planned to go see Xiaohe before, and I have a day off tomorrow. You go to investigate the weirdness, and I will accompany her at Xiaohe's house, so I won't delay you, Cheng Shengnan said. Also good. The two made an appointment to meet at Tianchuan Square at noon tomorrow. Then Shen Jie sent Cheng Shengnan to the car and took a taxi home to rest. At 12 o'clock in the evening, Shen Jie lay on the bed and opened the diary. On January 20, 2028, the organization thinks it is necessary to send you to infiltrate the enemy's counterattack department and find out how many people they have planted on our side. This matter is not trivial and a complete plan needs to be formulated. And the woman who was captured was the key to launching this plan. It's just that you rejected the opponent twice, and there were too many loopholes in taking the initiative, so the senior management decided to create a script for you. Weekly mission. Under the Doomsday, weird things are rampant. You need to improve your rating as soon as possible to unlock more functions of the system. The rating task: kill a weird creature of at least level 3 inches will reward system points x 500, random E-level recovery items x 3, free attribute points by 10%, and the rating will be upgraded to level 2. Rating tasks. Shen Jie didn't expect that he needed to complete the rating task to upgrade from level 1 to level 2. He was a little surprised, but finding a level 3 weirdo was not that simple. Shen Jie used to think that there was a time difference of 4 years with the system, and that there would be at least 3 or 5 levels of weirdness in the future at levels 6 and 7, but the invisible appearance directly shattered this speculation. Furthermore, according to Li Zhang's research, the strangeness of the strangeness can be alienated faster. It can also be seen that the strangeness in this time period is not directly related to the future level. In any case, big fish eat small fish. The more they eat, the faster they grow. But now the streets are not full of weirdos, and it is not that easy to feed a level 3 weirdo, so finding a level 3 weirdo is much harder than imagined. But the most important thing now is to deal with the suspected level 1 weird dog first, just in time to try out the effects of silence and intangibility, as well as the operating space of the invisible realm. The next day, Shen Jie stuffed a bunch of equipment into his shoulder bag. Anyway, he reported it to Deng Yuki yesterday. In addition to things that were too ostentatious like the Gatling AK-47, and relatively low-key equipment like the butcher knife and pistol, it's no problem to bring it with you. Shen Jie took a taxi to the place he had agreed with Cheng Shengnan. Unexpectedly, the other party had already arrived and was sitting on a stone bench by the road, scrolling through his mobile phone. Cheng Shengnan wore a black dress today. Her elegant temperament and metal-framed glasses added a touch of intelligence and composure. "Beauty, are you waiting for someone?" Shen Jie stepped forward and joked. Cheng Shengnan raised his head and looked at Shen Jie. "Well, I'll wait for you. According to the agreed time. You're 13 minutes late. According to company standards, 130 will be deducted. Then I'll bribe you with 200 to have lunch and forget about it. How about that?" Shen Jie asked. Cheng Shengnan thought about it seriously, nodded and said, "That's okay." The two of them got up and walked towards the restaurant opposite, when a familiar voice suddenly came from behind them. "Tisk, tisk, tisk. No wonder I refused my mom's signature soup temptation on the weekend. It turns out I'm in the company of a beautiful woman." Chapter 70. The Black Dog That Only Xiao He Can See. Tang Jins and his parents were standing behind Shen Jie and the other two. All three of them had subtle smiles on their faces, especially the two old men, who looked as if they were looking at their daughter-in-law. "You three, are you playing a funny family here?" Tang Jin saw that Shen Jie was embarrassed and joked. "We are half-brothers who grew up together, so we have to hide our love." After Shen Jie introduced Tang Jins and the others to Cheng Shengnan, he introduced them to them. "Uncle, aunt, this is my colleague, Cheng Shengnan." "We understand." Father Tang smiled happily. "Understood." Mother Tang smiled and nodded in agreement. "Hello, Xiao Cheng." Tang's father smiled and extended his hand. "Hello." Tang's mother followed closely. Tang's father said something, and Tang's mother followed it with the next two words. It seemed like, "understood." But in fact, what she understood was definitely different from what Shen Jie said. Cheng Shengnan greeted the two elders politely. Tang Jins looked at Shen Jie and asked, "Looking at your attitude, do you want to go to dinner?" Shen Jie nodded. "It just so happens that we haven't eaten either. We haven't seen my parents for so long. Isn't it too much to have a meal together?" Tang Jin said with a wink. Shen Jie really wanted to say that I just went to your house last week, but his father and mother in Tang Dynasty were really good to him since he was a child, and he and Cheng Shengnan really had nothing to do with each other. Shen Jie looked at Cheng Shengnan and saw that Cheng Shengnan and Tang Mu were chatting, so he nodded and said, "That's fine. Uncle and aunt, what do you want to eat? We can eat whatever Xiaocheng wants to eat. You don't have to worry about us. Haha. Just don't blame us for disturbing your world." Mother Tang said with a smile. Cheng Shengnan said, "Auntie, there are so many people here and I am very happy to have dinner with you." "Hey, Xiao Cheng. Let's take a walk. What do you want to eat? It's around here. Auntie is very familiar with it. I'm sure I can find whatever you want to eat." Tang's mother took Cheng Shengnan's hand affectionately, not sure. She thought Shen Jie was her son, but at this time it was her mother-in-law who was looking at her daughter-in-law, and the more she looked at her, the happier she became. Shen Jie said with a wooden face, "I want to eat dragon meat." Tang's father and Tang's mother ignored Shen Jie and greeted Cheng Shengnan for fear of being cold and hungry. The three of them chatted and walked towards the opposite street. Tang Jins looked at Shen Jie and joked, "What are you doing standing around? Just follow along. I'm still waiting for you to wash the dishes and pay after eating." The five of them went to a nearby Chinese restaurant for lunch. Cheng Shengnan and Tang's mother quickly became familiar with each other. Tang's mother also invited Cheng Shengnan and Shen Jie to have soup at home next week. While Cheng Shengnan was chatting with Tang's father and Tang's mother, Shen Jie pulled Tang Jins outside the store. "Hey, what are you doing so mysteriously? Do you have any shady things? Doing both things with one foot?" "Oh, don't worry, I won't tell my brothers and sisters," Tang Jin said confidently. "You have such a big brain, it would be a pity not to write a novel." Shen Jie took out a small bottle containing internal injury healing pill from his pocket, poured one pill out of it, and then gave the bottle to Tang Jins. "What is this?" Tang Jins opened the bottle and smelled it. Shen Jie said, "This is called internal injury healing pill. It can quickly heal non-fatal internal injuries within 10 seconds after taking it. It is effective for most moderate internal injuries." Real or not, if this medicine really has this effect, 99% of pharmaceutical factories will close down tomorrow. Tang Jins obviously didn't believe it, So he poured out an internal injury healing pill and studied it carefully. Shen Jie said, "There are 2 pills here. Aren't you still doing drug research? Try to do some research and see if you can find out if the formula is imitated." Tang Jin said, "Are you really kidding? Where did this thing come from? It has something to do with those things. Weird, almost. Tisk, tisk. It seems like the world is really going to change." Shen Jie has never had the opportunity to use these medicines, but since they are quick-acting medicines, certified by the system, there should be no problems with their effects. If Tang Jins can really study something from it, then let him take a look at other restored products. Moreover, Shen Jie also plans to give one to Li Shang when he has extra mental apples to see if there is any connection between this thing and the magic power. If Li Shang can reproduce it, he will not have to worry about insufficient mental power in the future. While the 2 were chatting, Cheng Shengnan and Tang's father and Tang's mother came out of the Chinese restaurant. After hearing that Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan were involved, the old couple did not force them to stay, but only asked them to come home for soup next week. Then Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan took a taxi to the community where Xiao He lived. Shen Jie did not go directly to Xiao He's house, but walked around the community first. "Have you found anything?" Cheng Shengnan, who was following, asked. Shen Jie shook his head. Not only did he not notice it, but the system did not give any warning. But judging from the performance of the system in the strange pig incident in the Western restaurant last night, it should not be a system problem. Shen Jie recalled that Xiao He mentioned that he only saw the black dog at night, so he decided to go to Xiao He's house to check the situation first, and then continue the search at night. The 2 came to Xiao He's house. Xiao He opened the door with dark circles under his eyes that were comparable to smoky makeup. When he saw Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan outside the door, he forced a smile with exhaustion on his face. "Brother Shen, Mr. Cheng, please come in quickly. I don't know what kind of fruit you like to eat, so we bought some." Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan placed 2 large bags of fruit on the coffee table. Xiao He poured tea for the 2 of them and said, "Hey, why are you so polite? Just come and buy something, how embarrassing." "It's okay, Mr. Cheng has a lot of money," Shen Jie said. Shen Jie held the teacup, glanced at Xiao He and said, "It seems like you haven't had a good rest recently. Isn't that right? What happened last time left a huge shadow on me. Now I even dismantled the mirror in the bathroom. And I have to walk straight away from the sewer pipe when washing." Xiao He finally met 2 capable people. People who listened to her story immediately began to express their bitterness. It's not like she hasn't mentioned it to others before, but neither her parents nor her close friends believe this kind of thing at all. After listening to Xiao He's rant for more than half an hour, Shen Jie concluded, "So after that incident, you didn't have a good rest for a few days after you came back. It was only a few days ago that you saw the black man with black smoke coming out of his body for the first time. Dog. And besides you, no one else in this community has seen the black dog?" Xiao He nodded. "Yes, this is the strangest thing. One time, my best friend was worried about me and came over to stay with me at night. That night we went downstairs to have supper together, and I saw the black dog squatting next to the trash can, staring at me with red eyes. I pointed it out to my best friend, but she didn't see anything." Cheng Shengnan asked, "Could it be that you didn't get enough rest and are hallucinating? But you can't keep seeing that black dog in the same place for several nights, right?" Xiao He said agreeably. Shen Jie thought for a while and said, "After dark, take us to have a look."